Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video, we're going over the latest and greatest in emulation gaming and tech, and we've got a ton of news to cover. Nintendo Switch emulation, PS4 emulation, brand new hardware that's about to hit the market, and a whole bunch of gaming leaks and hacks. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 emulation with KYTY, or Kitty, kind of. There's a brand new PS4 emulator out there that's a fork of Kitty. So this brand new fork of Kitty is called Obliteration, and they state Obliteration is an experimental PS4 emulator based on Kitty. The project is in the process of migrating source from Kitty to make it work on both Windows and Linux. It cannot run any games that Kitty isn't able to yet, which makes complete sense. I'm a little bit confused though, considering Kitty is in extremely early stages of development. It doesn't run a whole lot yet. You would think the developers would team up to make something better, but at the same time here, I'm not complaining. It's nice to see more attempts at getting PS4 emulation and even PS5 emulation up and running. And Obliteration is free, it's open source, it's in extremely early stages of development, and I'll drop a link to the GitHub in the description below. Feel free to check it out. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on PC with Ryujinx. And Ryujinx got a couple of updates here you might be interested in. Version 1.1275 introduces a GPU improvement that fixes Sniper Elite 3 crashing on startup. Version 1.1278 improves Vulkan performance in fast RMX on Intel GPUs, and it may improve Vulkan performance in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD and all 3 Xenoblade games on Intel GPUs. And on top of that, it might improve Vulkan performance in all of the above games on AMD GPUs. If you've got an Nvidia GPU though, there shouldn't be any improvements. Now, updating to the latest version of Ryujinx is simple and straightforward. All you have to do is open up the emulator and you should be prompted to update. Just click yes. Moving on, and we're talking about Nintendo DS emulation in your browser with Desmumi Wasm. Desmumi Wasm is primarily designed for iPhones and iPads, but it can work on other devices. Desmumi Wasm is free, it's open source, and I'll leave a link to the GitHub in the description below. From here you can click on the link and launch the browser emulator. If you haven't tried this emulator out, I'd recommend giving it a shot. There are some early access features here like the XBRZ upscaling filter, turbo mode, cheats are supported, it does support your device's microphone, and you can also choose a landscape screen layout. Next up, we're talking about PlayStation 1 emulation with PCSX Redux. PCSX Redux is a fork of PCSX, and it's not to be confused with PCSX Reloaded. The purpose of this emulator is to bring the codebase up to more up-to-date code standards, to get rid of the plugin system and create a single monolithic codebase that handles all aspects of the PlayStation emulation, and improve the rendering experience. And PCSX Redux just got an update. The latest update is available right on their GitHub page. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. It's free and it's open source and it's available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. If you click on the Windows update, it's interesting here because it says this app is not compatible with Windows, but it really is. The latest version here is version 10.9.15. Next up, we're talking about emulation on Linux, including the Steam Deck with Batocera. Batocera 35 just dropped, and this one is a really big update. I'll leave a link to the changelog in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. They've added in gun support and emulation station, added in support for Amtrak light gun out of the box, added in support for AE light gun out of the box, added in the virtual dolphin bar, added in Wiimote calibration, added in the Sinden gun support. They've added in GunCon support, added in MAME standalone UDEV gun driver. So if you like to use guns, well, this might be the update for you. They've added in MediaTek Wi-Fi, Realtek Wi-Fi, and better AMD sound SoC support. And the list here keeps on going. They've added in additional RPCS3 options, Nvidia card auto configuration. They've added in swap memory to PowKitty devices, added in Melon DS and Drastic to the RG352. They've added in stuff for the Raspberry Pi too. There's now Joy-Con support. A whole bunch of emulators have been updated to much more recent versions. Performance is now better with reduced game launch time. And on top of that, there's been a bunch of bug fixes. Batocera is free, it's open source, it's available for a bunch of different devices, including the Steam Deck. It's now available on Steam Deck as a beta. As I've said, this is an absolutely massive update to Batocera. You've got to hand it to the development team. Next up, this is a quick one. The other day we talked about PCSX2 getting retro achievements. And now Talrith, the developer of Aether SX2, has confirmed that Aether SX2 will also be getting retro achievements. And as for when Aether SX2 is getting retro achievements, it'll probably be quickly after PCSX2, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it sometime in October or November. Next up, GPD has announced the dock for the GPD Win 4, very similar to the dock for the Steam Deck. GPD seems to be really going after the Steam Deck here with their own device. And looking at this dock, it looks awesome, but there's one minor problem. It would be a major problem for me. There's only one USB-C port, and that's for power delivery. I wouldn't mind seeing one of these docks with an additional USB-C port. It's a little bit unfortunate that not many of them have them. One of the reasons I've shied away with using a dock for my Steam Deck is the fact that it doesn't have dual USB-C, one for power and, well, one for data. And that's why I'm currently using this Anker USB-C hub. I have two USB-C ports, one for power and one for data. Moving on now, and if you're interested in God of War Ragnarok, the file size for PS4 has been unveiled, 90.6 gigabytes. You might have to free up some hard drive space for this one. Moving on, and this game has been leaked before, but now it's official. Marvel has announced the brand new Iron Man game. We don't know a whole lot about it just yet, other than the fact that it's being developed by Motive, the studio behind Dead Space. If you're interested in Skate 4, there's been some more gameplay that has leaked. This is early testing gameplay. As you can see, there's no skateboard here. And if you wanted to watch the video, I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Next up, if you hate having money, I've got a great announcement for you. Today, Nvidia unveiled the 4090 and two versions of the 4080, as well as their pricing. So the lowest price one here, the 4080 12 gig version, will cost $900. The 4080 16 gig version will cost $1,200. And the 4090 will set you back $1,600. If you thought top-of-the-line PC gaming was expensive, well, this just brought it to another level. This is absolutely insane. And a lot of people are poking fun at Nvidia for this. I mean, don't get me wrong here, the 4090 is pretty much guaranteed to be a gaming beast, but I don't think I can justify a price point of $1,600. Let me know your thoughts about this price in the comments below. Next up, and you're gonna like this one, we're talking about my Launchbox giveaway. In a previous video, I mentioned I was giving away 10 lifetime licenses for the Windows version of Launchbox and 10 lifetime licenses for the Android version of Launchbox. And in this video, we're giving away the first of the lifetime licenses for either Windows or Android. It's entirely up to you. This is only going to be one lifetime license, so first come, first serve. You have to send an email to launchboxgiveaway@mrsujano.com, and you have to answer this question: who founded Launchbox? So to recap, this is just for one key. Whoever sends me the correct answer first gets it. And in another video, I'll have a different question with a different answer, and well, it's going to be for one key as well, and you get to specify what key you want. So if you send an email in with the correct answer and don't get a reply, don't fret, it just means someone else has already won. But you'll have another shot with another question in another video. Next up, pretty soon we can expect Sackboy Big Adventure to be announced for PC. Earlier on, Steam may have leaked this game just a little bit, and now it's all but confirmed considering Steam leaked the game again. They uploaded a Big Adventure icon to the Steam database, so at this point it's pretty much all but confirmed. We finally have pricing numbers on the Anbernic RG353 VS and 353V. The V is the better edition. It's got 2 gigs of RAM as opposed to 1. It has a touchscreen and it supports Android 11. The VS doesn't have a touchscreen, it's got 1 gig of RAM and it only supports Linux. Both models use the RK3566 chip. The VS is priced at $90 on sale, normally $98. And the V, the more expensive one, is priced at $113, normally priced at $121. Those are pretty good prices for the reported specs here. And if you are interested in either of these devices, I'd say go with the 353V. You get extra RAM, it's got a touchscreen, and it's also compatible with Android. It's not much more expensive for a lot of extra functionality. Last up here, we're talking about a ROM hack for the SNES. Sicari 2, a ROM hack for Super Mario World, has been released and it looks really good. This ROM hack is huge. It's a complete overhaul of Super Mario World. It's got 2 main playable characters, 7 unique bosses, tons of unique level themes complete with entirely original graphics, 6 main worlds, a secret world, a special world, and 46 exits. I personally like the looks of this one. It looks great. I think a ton of work went into it, and if you're interested in checking it out, I'll drop a link to it in the description below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a ton today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state.